What's going on, guys? Coach Vic here. In today's video, feel versus real. Which one should you be thinking about, if any? Coming up. Okay guys, so in this video we're just going to be talking about the differences between feel versus real. If you pay any attention to hitting coaches online, you're going to hear a lot of different theories and philosophies on feel versus real. And if you don't know what that is, feel is essentially, from a hitter standpoint, is essentially a swing thought, right? Or whatever approach that a hitter needs to take in order to produce the result that he wants. And then of course real is, when you take video and you look at the analysis and you break it down in slow motion, you can see what's actually happening. And so what is the difference? How do they correlate together, and which one should you be focusing on? So for example, there's been some pretty popular videos going around on YouTube and online with A-Rod and Barry Bonds where they talk about their swing thought. I'll admit they don't explain it the best, but I'm here to clarify just a little bit about what they meant. If you haven't seen their video, I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, throughout the video, they discuss how they approached hitting the baseball and what they believed they were doing, and they show a very exaggerated downward chop to the ball. Barry Bonds talks about how very top hand dominant, and that he's coming down like this, showing a very high, steep downward angle to the ball. And of course, that's just not exactly how he did it. But the one mistake that I think most people make is that they look at a slow motion swing and they look at Barry Bonds in that video saying that he does this and then he actually does that. And then I've actually saw coaches that have commented and said that Barry Bonds and A-Rod don't know what they're talking about, that they're morons. And I beg to differ. Okay, those two particular guys are two of the greatest, one of them is the top home run hitter of all time, and then one is only, I think he's like third or fourth on the list, is A-Rod at just under 700 home runs. So between the two guys, they have a combined, 1,300 plus home runs together. 22, I think they each had 22 years in the big leagues each. So 44 years in the big leagues, 44 years of result. Okay, so we have to look at it from a different perspective. Don't count them out right away. Okay, these two have achieved a level of mastery, a very the highest level of mastery when it comes to hitting a baseball. Steroids or not, we're talking about hitting a baseball and hitting it consistently hard and far. Two of the best ever. So when we look at those two guys in particular, I'm just going to use them as an example. They are talking about what they think they are doing. Whether or not it's what they're doing or not, it produced the results that they got. Okay, so it's not that they're lying and they're trying to mislead people. They are simply, we have to look at it as a big picture. They're showing a big difference between what they thought they were doing and what was actually happening. Meaning, what they thought was the reason why they achieved the results that they got. Okay, so rather than saying they don't know what they're talking about, let's look at that discrepancy between the feel and the real. And let's see, maybe that itself, that gap, that differential between the two, feel versus real, is something that we need to focus on. Maybe you could benefit from a certain feel or a swing thought that is a little different from what your coach might be telling you to do. For me, for example, in my case, for example, if I ever thought swing up, it was not going to work. I would hit tons of topspin. I experimented with it at times. I hit tons of topspin line drives and topspin ground balls, and then high pop-ups, and it was a disaster. It didn't work. So for me, it worked best when I kept more of a level, or even sometimes a downward swing thought, which is the feel. Okay. Also, I think a common mistake is thinking that feel and real are just two different things. Okay, you can't have one without the other. As a hitter, at the end of the day, it comes down to the feel that you have in that box. right? Because you're not going to have a HITTalks or a Rapsodo or a monitor to look up at after every swing you take, every ball you hit when you're out on the field during a game, right? You have to rely on a feel. So it isn't necessarily feel versus real as if they're going up against each other, that one is superior than the other. In fact, they are one thing, just two sides. I mean, I guess you could almost say like a yin and a yang, a positive and a negative. Okay, they are working together. One cannot exist without the other. But even at the end of the day, again, it comes down to the feel. So, for example, if you've played baseball for any bit of time, you've probably had a hot streak where you were going and you were just absolutely on fire. Whatever you swung at, you crushed. What were you feeling? Or what were you thinking during that stretch? I mean, if you're anything like me and the hundreds of other players that I've ever played with, they were thinking nothing. Nothing. Nada. They were feeling it. Because you can feel with more intelligence than your mind can even process in one time. Okay? So the feeling, the experience of connecting with that ball throughout your entire body is real. That feel is real. Okay, don't get lost and then go look at the video of that same swing and then start to critique it and break it down. You may not need to. You may just need to find that feel. Okay, so I recommend, guys, if you are heavy into the analytics, I recommend to strategically have a couple days where you just eliminate it. Get into the cage wherever you go out on the field if you can, and just clear your mind of all analysis. You just take a break from it and really just focus on getting the feel, getting into a groove. Just pick the result that you want, whatever it is you want to work on. You want to work on oppo? Okay, think oppo gap. You want to try and leave the park, left field? Fine, whatever. Pick a result that you want. Take some swings, make adjustments on your own to get the result that you want. Then really focus on the feel of it. Okay, how it is feeling, and try and duplicate it with your body and with your mind. And I'm telling you, when you finally get the result that you want, it's because the mind actually shut down and took a breather. Okay, because science and performance science has proven over and over again that we as athletes perform our best when we are calm, relaxed, and clear of thought. So again, your goal as a hitter is to find that feel, find that approach that is going to work for you, that is going to get you the results that you want. And guys, keep an open mind when you're hearing coaches talk about certain things in regards to their swing philosophy, up, down, whatever it is. Don't take everything for face value, because sometimes they may just be referring to the swing thought. So for example, if I'm working with a kid and he's popping everything up straight into the net, that's not the result that we want. Okay, I may tell him, you know what, or I may tell him hit a line drive up the middle, shoot up the middle, and that doesn't work. He keeps popping them up. And I say, okay, you know what, swing down, hit the ball straight down, and just see what happens. And more than likely, they don't do it. They hit a ball, line drive back up the middle. So sometimes that you need a swing thought, an extreme, sometimes drastic, right, an exaggerated thought to counteract the flaw that you currently have. So just understand that's how things work. And maybe if one swing thought works for you on one day, you may need to tinker with it and create another swing thought, right? So maybe your swing slightly up thought doesn't work for you. You start popping balls up, right? You want that consistent launch angle. So it's not working. You're popping balls up, you're top spinning things, you're getting too much, you're dumping the barrel too early. Then maybe you need to readjust that, okay? And say, hey, I'm just gonna hit a one-hop shot back up the middle. I want to hit it right back off the mound and see what happens. That may put you right where you need to be and back on track with that, elevated, backspun, ball driven deep or over the fence. So you need to be your own coach in that sense and find the feel that produces the real for you. Okay guys, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Got any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.